Hello, everyone, and welcome to Reddit News Daily. Today we will be discussing relationship advice in which OP's ex-boyfriend shows up to her apartment at 2 a.m. staring at her while holding a weapon. I, a 20-year-old male, found out about my girlfriend's 28 female affair with her boss, a 40-year-old male, a week ago. Should I confront her before I leave? We have been together for 5 years now, and I was saving up money for a house and a wedding, but that's all gone now. I go for a run every morning, and I couldn't find my phone. When I asked her to give me my cell a call, she wanted to go back to sleep and handed her phone to me. I always had some suspicions about her behavior in the past few months, and so I snooped. Let's just say all our business trip and late nights were all excuses for her hooking up with her boss, who is a married man, by the way. I don't know when it all started, but from the text, it seems like every day and all over the office. The lockdown stopped it, and the wife found out about the affair as well. So the boss had to put an end to it. There was also this also explained why the girlfriend was incredibly sensitive during March. I often found her bawling her eyes out, but the reason she gave me was one of her friend's moms had passed away due to COVID-19. The last few months has actually been good for us. I was happy spending so much time with her, and it all seemed well. We also had talks about marriage and children and what our future may look like. She also seemed more invested in the relationship compared to earlier this year. I had already started saving up for the house already, but due to COVID I had to take a pay cut, so I began looking for new jobs since last month. I have it narrowed down to 2 job offers, one in the same city with a substantial increase in pay, and the other on the West Coast with a gigantic increase in salary with probably the best company out there in my field. I haven't told her about the offers yet, as the negotiations are still ongoing. However, this was all last week. Since girlfriend has started working remotely, she has limited contact with her boss, but their conversation started again at the beginning of this month. At first, it was all about how much they both regret about what they had done with their respective partners, about how he had put a lot of effort into regaining his wife's trust, and yada yada yada. Then the tone shifted into the second week, and it was all about how they still had feelings for each other, but it has to stop. She also mentioned that she was looking forward to getting married to me, and how it would break my heart if I got to known about cheating. Anyways, all that texting led them to decide to meet up for one last time, and then end it between them once and for all. I found out about all of this last Friday, and they are planning to meet up this weekend. By the way, she's told me she is going to go help her friend who is moving back to her hometown this weekend. When I first read through everything, I just couldn't move from the sofa for an hour. It was as if my body weighed a ton. I started imagining them having passionate hugging and making fun of me behind my back, and all kinds of stuff was going through my head. Last week was heck for me. Looking at her all excited about the weekend made it worse. Anyways, I'm packing up everything tomorrow while she is out. I am heading back to my parents. I have not told them anything yet. Rather, I have not said anything to anybody. I have kept it all inside me, and it's getting bad. That's why I'm writing this, because I'll go mad if I don't. I plan to take the job up on the West Coast. It's going to be remote for a while anyways, so it doesn't matter much. I am not planning on leaving anything behind. No letter, no text, no anything. I'll block her as soon as I hit the road. I have spent this week fixing up all my finances and talking with my landlord, and now just done. What I want to know is, am I doing the right thing? Should I talk it out with her? Honestly, April and May was really good for us, but I don't think I'll be able to trust her anymore. It was really hard even looking at her face while talking to her the past few days. I just want it over with. It's just that she really looked forward to a life together, and I feel bad that this relationship has gone south. I'm sorry to hear this, OP. I know how you feel in a way. My wife cheated on me after 9 years of marriage and we divorced. However, I agree with Misfit 971. Maybe you can get a hold of his wife and explain to her as well and show her the proof you found so that she can know as well, because it's obviously that this affair is still going on. That excuse to go help her sister move to her hometown is just BS. But yes, I don't think she deserves to know, but I do think that the boss's wife needs to know. I, a 17-year-old female, have an ex-boyfriend who stood outside my apartment all night with a gun. For some context, me and my ex dated for barely even 2 months before I decided to leave him because I found out he passionately hugged a girl against her will at some party. I didn't want to associate with a rapist. He did not get charged for anything, and I do not want to support a rapist, nor would I want to be passionately hugged against my will myself. That was around 8 months ago. I've so far found a different guy that I am dating now. However, we are in a long distance relationship, so he can't even be here to support me. After I broke it off, he started stalking me. It wasn't so bad that I felt unsafe, but I still took as many precautions as I could. I'd usually just see him follow me around in school, commenting and spamming my socials and DMs, and every once in a while he'd send me letters about how sorry he is and how he wishes I'd come back to him. In the last month he's been quiet and hasn't done anything, so I thought he had stopped. I was wrong. Last night was just like any other, except my mother was doing a night shift at work, so I was alone. I was on call with my boyfriend, and we were just in the middle of watching a movie when I hear some sort of noise coming from outside my apartment. So jokingly get up, not really expecting to see anything more than just my neighbor going up the stairs, and I see him. He was trying to be quiet. I was started to get extreme anxiety over it and tried to act like I'm not home. Now this part is honestly embarrassing, and I know people are going to call me out on this. I did not call the police or any type of emergency hotline. My anxiety got so bad that I had to go into the corner of my living room, and I sat there for 40 minutes while quietly going through the possibility the worst panic attack of my life. I carefully left a message for both my mother and my boyfriend. I really wanted to call my mother or police or someone, but I knew he would hear me, and it wouldn't matter in what room I would be. My anxiety wasn't allowing me to do that. After the 40 minutes, I just quietly got up to check if he was still there, and my stomach sank because not only was he there, but he also had a gun. At that point, I was just expecting to not make it through the night. I wrote a long message for both my mother and my boyfriend, telling them how much I love them. I sat in the corner for another hour or so, got up again, and he was still there. At that point, I had no hope he'd leave. I was starting to get scared that he's going to be there when my mom will be getting back. At some point, he just banged on the door a couple of times and shouted out my name, and even then I heard him run down the stairs. I was too shocked for the loud banging to even get up, but I somehow did eventually, although I don't remember how much time had passed, and he wasn't there anymore. Once I was sure that he left, I called my mother, and she called the police and was on her way back home. Also, I know someone might be wondering why no neighbor did anything about it or how no one saw him. It was around 2 a.m. when I first spotted him, and I'm guessing at that time most of them were at home and asleep. The police took my statement and are now looking into him because apparently he ran away from his parents a week prior. I have no clue what the heck happened to him, but I'm currently scared out of my mind. Me and my mom are going to be sleeping at a hotel tonight since the police said there's still a chance he would come back. I don't know what to do or how to feel. I'm scared for my life. Please, I need your help. First off, OP, even though you had a high stress, high anxiety situation that you didn't think you were going to make it out of, you did very well in maintaining your anxiety. You got in contact with your mom and your boyfriend through text messaging, and I'm guessing your mom knew something was up with these text messages. Now that the police are involved, what you need to do is to carry around like a notebook with you or something. Note the time, the date, if you spot him, if he approaches you. Just, keep track of everything that he does. Also, there's a comment I wanted to read right below. It's from Abigail's 1128. You did the right thing by involving the police. You need to make sure they understand how afraid you are for your life, and they'll likely see this in a more serious light. This is an incredibly dangerous situation, and I wish you luck. And there's another comment. You did great. It was a very scary time. If this happens again, hide in a room and lock it if you have one. Put your phone on mute and call the police. That way he won't be able to hear anything, and the police will have to come for all calls for that. So there you go. You will survive this, OP, and that is not your ex-boyfriend. That's an ex-stalker. My girlfriend, who's 17, wants to lie about volunteering and social service and wants to fabricate a certificate for the same just to help her college application. I want to break up because of it. I know this might seem like a menial issue given what else is discussed on the subreddit, but I would really appreciate some help with this. For a little context, we're both in our final year of high school and we've been together since the start of the year. Things have been going very well between the two of us, and both of us have been extremely happy until now. Also, she's from an extremely well-off family. I didn't think much of her family's wealth and connections until yesterday, but I guess it's relevant. So my girlfriend and I were talking about volunteering in our locality yesterday, in order to teach to the underprivileged kids who did not have access to online classes. This is something I feel very strongly towards, and I was extremely glad I had the opportunity to do something like this. She brought up how she really wants to do it because she really needs it for her college application, and I didn't think much of it and continued to tell her the details. After we cut the call, she talked to her father about it and called me back after 10 minutes. She told me that her father and her agreed that volunteering for this would waste a lot of time she could spend preparing for the SAT instead. Then said her father knows someone who runs one of the biggest NGOs in our city, and she could just get the certification made from there without spending any time volunteering, getting the best of both worlds. I asked her if she was really on board with this, and she said that it made sense to her, and that everyone does this, so it's not a big deal. I don't know if I've just been extremely lucky with my friend circle, or if I'm just that oblivious, but nobody I know had to resort to these things in order to go to a respectable university. At this point, I cut the call and we didn't talk for the rest of the day. She texted me later at night asking why I'm mad at her. I told her I'm not mad, I'm just upset about what she said earlier. She got mad at me for judging her for her viewpoint, and then we ended up having a major fight, where I told her all of my friends wanted to get into their dream universities as well, but none of them are having to resort to fabricating certificates for it. She said everyone does it, so I told her that might be the case from where she is, because she shifted from a nearby city last year, and most of her friends are still from there, but I didn't know anyone here who does this stuff. Today morning, I texted her saying I'm sorry that I was rude about what I said, and I didn't mean to undermine her in any way. However, I still stand by what I said, and if she doesn't think what she's doing is wrong in the slightest, things are not going to work out between the two of us. Am I being too impulsive by saying I would like to break up over someone like this? All of my friends agree with me on this, but I would really like a third person's perspective. Thank you. Update. Thank you, but I feel like the stress and unrest caused by the current situation, as well as not knowing what's going to happen next, is the only right reason why she's considering her father's suggestion. We talked today, and she's agreed that she'll try to manage her time and volunteer with the kids with me as much as she can. Our relationship is on a break for a bit, as we had quite the fight today, but at least she's dropped out of the idea of faking a certificate altogether, which I'm extremely glad about. So, OP, it seems that you were able to talk some sense to her with that argument that, faking a certification is not the best idea, no matter what her parents say, because they do check into these certificates. I had a friend, he knew computers, he knew them well. He forged his certificates, he even tried Photoshop. I went to my classes, I did all my classes, got all my certifications. So he was really pissed off when I got the job he applied for because they caught him in the lie. Alright, this has been Reddit News Daily, relationship advice. If anyone out there is being stalked or harassed, please call your local number or look up the 1-800 number to speak to someone, because nobody should ever have to go through physical, verbal, or even mental abuse. And I hope that you get the best help. Other than that, thank you for listening to this video. Please subscribe if you get a chance and give this video a thumbs up.